Hi there, and you just tuned in to Jugascopy TV today. I have François Savary with me. He is the Chief Investment Officer at REYL, and we're going to have a look at the Swiss franc and of course some Swiss data that came out today. Hi, it's always great to have you in the studio, François.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, let's have a look at the KOF Swiss Leading Indicator. Of course, the UBS consumption data that came out today. What do you think about this data?
I think they are quite satisfactory, despite the fact that the KOF was a little bit down. The trend remained quite positive, and it is supported by the fact that the consumer sentiment is improving. I believe that the Swiss economy is going to grow satisfactory in 2013.
Okay, let's just have a look at some graphs. Came out today. The KOF Swiss Leading Indicator is kind of disappointing. They had expected it to be 120. What are your thoughts?
I think that, as you said, they are a little bit lower than expected. Nevertheless, the trend, if you look in terms of months, you can see that the trend remains satisfactory on a long-term basis, because we are absolutely not reaching level as the one that we experienced in 2009 or 2010. So yes, there is some bit of slowdown. It is normal, considering the fact that the world economy is in a phase of a slowdown or stabilization after a strong slowdown, but nevertheless, it remains satisfactory.
And what type of figure are you expecting next month?
I believe that there could be some rebound in the indicator, as we see some stabilization emerging in Europe.
Okay, we have just another graph, the KOF Economic Barometer and GDP. What are your thoughts on this graph?
Clearly, what you can see is, as we expected, there is a slowdown in the Swiss economy. We are forecasting a 0.9% rate of growth of the GDP in 2013, and clearly what you can see with the evolution of the KOF is that we are very close to that level. We are around this 1% level. Yes, there is a slowdown, but absolutely no fear of recession, and this is something that is quite positive compared to Europe, which is experiencing right now a recession. So I believe that the Swiss economy has been able to add a very positive situation compared to European counterpart in the last 2 years, and there is no reason that should change.
And last week, the SNB chairman, Thomas Jordan, said he does expect the Swiss franc to continue to weaken. Now, what type of action are you expecting from the SNB? And of course, the performance of the Swiss franc for the next few months?
I believe that when you listen to Mr. Jordan, clearly he said that there is no intervention by the Swiss National Bank right now. There is no action by the Swiss National Bank. What can you expect? The Swiss National Bank policy is clear. They want the Swiss franc to weaken. So I believe they are going to observe is the movement that we are seeing for the last few weeks is confirmed. And I believe that they are very pleased and will be very pleased if there is a continuation of this trend of depreciation of the Swiss franc versus the euro in particular.
Okay, let's have a look at this graph of the euro against Swiss franc.
Clearly what you can see is that a consolidation, a very long period where the Swiss National Bank was able to defend the 120 level. What is very, very interesting is the sharp move that we had beginning of this year, at the end of last year and beginning of this year, clearly moving from 120 to 125, which was twice, tested in the course of the last 2 weeks is quite significant. So I believe for the Swiss National Bank, one day will come, the day where they will have to decide if maybe they should reconsider the floor on the Swiss euro parity, and maybe try to increase this floor level. For the time being, the Swiss National Bank has said that they do not consider such a measure, but maybe it could be the surprise of the coming months. Maybe they could come out with a revision of the floor on the Swiss euro currency.
And we just have another graph with the US dollar. Now, what are you expecting to see with this currency pair?
I believe that the US dollar is going to appreciate significantly in the course of the second half of 2013. In the short run, we have some trouble with the US dollar. We are, for the time being, in a phase where people have strong belief in the euro again. So the US dollar is suffering, but I believe that it should be a short-term move, and that down the road, the US dollar is going to appreciate. So I believe that the US dollar is going to appreciate again most currencies, and the Swiss franc is going to suffer. So we believe that a return to parity is quite feasible in the course of the next three quarters.
And as you said, many expect the euro to actually strengthen. Now, Mario Draghi said at Davos he sees the eurozone strengthening in the second quarter. Do you agree with this?
I am still doubtful. I believe that it's a bit too quick. I believe that yes, we are seeing some stabilization, but don't forget that the euro The euro area is coming out of a significant recession by the end of 2012. I believe that yes, there could be some improvement in terms of stabilization. Is it going to be strong growth again in Europe? I do not believe. I do not believe in such a scenario. I believe that you have too many structural issues that need to be solved before you can consider that strong growth is back in Europe.
And finally, in terms of the Swiss economy for this year, what are you expecting in terms of highs and lows?
I believe that what is very, very good about the Swiss economy is the fact that after the crisis of 2008, 2009, I believe that we had the ability to prove that this economy is able to grow despite the recession in Europe. What is very, very significant is the fact that you had this move on the Swiss euro currency. I believe it's going to help the Swiss economy. So we began the year with a forecast of 0.9% as the rate of growth for 2013. With such an evolution confirmed on the Swiss franc, we believe that we could revise upward our forecast, maybe towards 1.2%, as exports should benefit from the weakness of the Swiss franc.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, that's it for right now, but coming up later on the show, I will be talking to Doireann from Big Capital, so do tune in for that. See you then.